Hey guys, this is Mrs. Campbell. I know we've all had a great time over spring break and we probably spent last week watching SpongeBob in our PJs, but it's time for us all to get back to work. Now your parents should have picked up a packet from the school of your work. If they didn't, they can download that packet from our Hudson website. If you'll get your work out, we're going to be looking at Fast Focus number 11. And that passage is called Battery Earth. Now, the best way to know what to focus our attention on is to look at the questions first. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's look at question number 1. What is the meaning of the word common in paragraph 1? Well, we're going to have to come over here, box in our word common, and then go find it in paragraph 1. We're going to look at the sentence before it, the sentence that it's in, and the sentence after it, to see if we can figure out what common might mean. And then we may have to double check ourselves with the dictionary. If you don't have a dictionary at home, you can use dictionary.com. Let's go over and do that in our passage now. Here in paragraph 1, we're going to box in the word common. We're going to read those sentences around it, and we're going to try to decide what we think it is. And then we're going to double check ourselves with the dictionary. Now let's look at question number 2. In paragraph 1, the word harvest means to... Well, I know we've had the word harvest before, but we're still going to need to use our context clues to make sure that it doesn't have a different meaning than the one we're familiar with. So let's go over to our passage, and in paragraph 1, let's find our word. Okay, here we go. We're going to box in our word. We're going to read the sentence before it, the one it's in, and we're going to try to determine what we think harvest means. And then if we need to, we can double check ourselves with the dictionary. Now let's look at question number 3. Look at the dictionary entry for the word prime. Well, the first thing I notice is that just like in our weekly language review, we have a definition that's an adjective, one that's a noun, one that's a noun, and another adjective. So we need to look in paragraph 2 and see how prime is being used there. Is it being used as a person, place, or thing like a noun, or is it being used to describe something like an adjective? So let's go over and see if we can narrow down our answer choices by deciding the part of speech that prime is. Here we have the word prime. Let's try to decide what part of speech we think prime is. The Permian Basin in Midland is a prime example. A what kind of example? A prime example. So prime is being used to describe the example. So what part of speech is that? Of course, it's an adjective. Knowing the part of speech should help us narrow down our answer choices. Now let's look at question number 4. The prefix X helps the reader know that excavated in paragraph 3 means what? Well, the prefix X, like the one you hear in exit, means what? Think about the meaning of the prefix X, and then go over to paragraph 3, find your word, and use your context clues to try to figure out what the word excavated might mean. You can also look it up in the dictionary if you're a little bit confused. Let's go over and do that now. Here's our word excavated. We're going to box it in, thinking about the prefix X, like is an exit. We're going to look at the context clues and see if we can't come up with what we think the word excavated means. Then we're going to double check ourselves with the dictionary. Okay, let's look at question number 5 now. Which word or phrase helps the reader determine what photovoltaic cells are in paragraph 5? Photovoltaic cells. That seems kind of hard, guys. Let's think about it and see if we can't come up with something that can help us. If you'll look at the prefix, or the root word, photo, What does it mean? Photovoltaic. Photo means light. So if we can go over to paragraph 5, think about the fact that photo means light, and use some context clues, we might be able to figure out what photovoltaic cells are in paragraph 5. And remember, you can always use your dictionary if you need a little boost. Here we are in paragraph 5, and I see the word photovoltaic. I'm going to remember that photo means light, and I'm going to use the context clues to see if I can't figure out what photovoltaic means. And then if I need it, I'm going to look it up in the dictionary. Now let's look at question number 6. The reader can tell that metropolitan in paragraph 6 means what? Metropolitan's a little bit of a large word, but that doesn't seem to be the problem. The problem is that we may not understand what wealthy, efficient, conservation, and urban mean. You may have to look those answer choices up before you even get started with context clues in paragraph 6. So if you don't know what wealthy, efficient, conservation, and urban mean, you need to look those up on dictionary.com or in your dictionary at home, and then go to paragraph 6, find your word metropolitan, and use some context clues to help you figure out what the meaning of the word might be. Okay, here we are in paragraph 6. Here's our word metropolitan. We're going to use our context clues. We're going to figure out what we think it means. We're going to look it up in the dictionary and double check ourselves. And then we're going to make sure we understand those answer choices. Let's look at question number 7. We're finally finished with our context clues questions. Now in question number 7, it's asking us, which sentence best states the main idea of the section titled Renew and Recharge? We're not looking at the entire passage. We're only looking at one section. So let's go over there and find that section, Renew and Recharge, and mark it so we can start listening for and determining the main idea of that section. Okay, so here is our section titled Renew and Recharge. That's the section we're looking at. And if you'll notice, the whole section includes paragraphs 5, 6, and 7. So you need to know what the main idea of the entire section is. What is it telling us about in 5? What's paragraph 6 telling us? And what's paragraph 7 telling us? And then you're going to come back over to your answer choices, and you're going to look and see which one answer choice includes something that's talked about in 5, 6, and 7. Let's look at question number 8. From paragraph 5, the reader can conclude that both solar and wind power are... The first thing I notice is that we need to be looking in paragraph 5. And then it's asking us, the readers, to conclude something or make a logical guess based on the information in paragraph 5 that both solar and wind power are. We're looking for both. So we need to go over and make ourselves a little note next to paragraph 5 so that we remember to look at what both solar and wind power are. I know our paragraph 5 is getting a little bit crowded, but we need to make ourselves a note so that we don't forget to pay attention to this section. And we want to pay attention to solar and wind power. Now, those of you who are in my class know that there's one way we can check to see for both. We can do solar and we can do wind, and we can do answer choice F, G, H, and J. And we can go back and read paragraph 5, and if answer choice F is true for solar, then we'll put a check. If it's true for wind, we'll put a check. The one with 2 checks is going to be your answer choice. But it has to be for both. Now let's look at question number 9. Based on the information in the article, what can the reader infer? Now, an inference is just using the information that you learned in the article. What would be a logical guess for the reader to make? So you're going to have to look at everything you learned in the article and try to make a decision as to what would be a logical guess based only on that information and what you know about how the world works. Yay, we made it! We're at number 10, finally! Let's look at number 10. The author of the article includes the information in paragraph 3 mainly to do what? Well, first of all, we're looking at the information in paragraph 3. And they're wanting to know why it's there. Is it there to describe to the reader something? To inform the reader about something? To encourage the reader to do something? Or to persuade the reader? So that tells me that this is definitely going to be an author's purpose question. But it's more than just that. You're going to have to read paragraph 3 and you're going to have to decide the author's purpose, but then you're going to have to decide what paragraph 3 is also mostly about. So we're looking for the main idea because that's going to help us understand what the author's describing to us, what the author's informing us about, what the author's encouraging us to do, or what the author's persuading us to do. So you need to know the author's purpose and the main idea of paragraph number 3. So let's go over to paragraph number 3 and make ourselves a little note so we don't forget to pay attention to paragraph number 3. Okay, on paragraph number 3, let's make ourselves the note. And we want to know the main idea. And then if you want to do it on the other side, you can write author's purpose. And you're going to put those two pieces of information together to answer question number 10. Now you have everything you need to be ready. All you have to do is go in and read the paragraphs, pass it in the passage carefully, making sure to stop every place that we made a note and answer those questions as you go along. And then when you get to the answer choices, everything will become crystal clear. Good luck!